succeed, a situation, event, or circumstance that they are deeply afraid of, the nightmare scenario.
Sure.
And then the next question was, why is it important that he or she fix this problem now? What are the consequences of waiting or continuing on like they are? So wouldn't that be kind of like the same?
What do you mean? Like, would it be so basically, I'm gonna teach you guys sales too, because this is something I didn't learn from school, obviously.
Mhm.
But what you want to do, and Joe, he's gonna be in this call. So basically you want to, like, when you sell your product and service to someone, like for you,
Mhm.
you're gonna sell social media management. For you, when you sell to someone, you're gonna be like, hey, if you don't buy our services now, obviously I don't know if that's how you're gonna word it, but if you don't get our help, what, like, you're gonna end up doing the same thing over and over. You're not gonna get clients, you're not gonna do marketing, no one's gonna know about your business. Obviously say it not as like direct, I guess, but maybe
Yeah.
Joe, you can chime in. But the first thing about sales is that you're filling their need. That's why they're on the call with you. So whatever you're selling, they're on the call with you for a reason, and you got to make sure, after you build rapport, you're like, hey, like, what's your name, blah blah, what do you do? Then it's like, hey, what's your pain point? Because that's the real reason you're on this call with me. You're here because there's a problem you have and I could solve it. So what is the issue you have? Like, what is it that, what are the obstacles and pain points that you have?
Mhm.
For them, they're going to say, well, we're not getting enough clients, we need help with marketing, all that. And then you're like, perfect, we'll have the solution, and the solution is, it costs this much, and there's different packages we have.
Mhm.
What would you like? And so I know your avatar is kind of very not as specific. You're pretty much open to anyone, but you got to start with their pain point, and be
Yeah.
like, I have the answer, and this is my marketing, because you're selling that service. And so um,
I didn't catch the question.
basically, do you want to say it again, Sophia?
Yeah, I was saying how two of the questions were kind of similar. The first question was, um, what? Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, sorry, I'm looking for it.
In the sales process?
Yeah, it was in our avatar questions where one was, what does your client believe will happen if they don't succeed? A situation, event, or circumstance that they're deeply afraid of, the nightmare scenario. And then the question, why is it important that he or she fix this problem now? What are the consequences of waiting or continuing on like they are? So they're just phrased differently, but they sounded somewhat the same to me. So it's
Well,
just,
what will happen if you take action, and what will happen if you don't take action?
yeah. Okay.
So yeah, just you got to be clear, because basically everything you do on your Instagram, you're attracting people to your Instagram based on what you post. And Joe, I know you kind of asked, like, hey, I'm posting these things, no one's watching it. Well, is what you're posting something worth stopping for? When you're scrolling through your Instagram feed, would you stop to see what you posted? And if the answer is no, then you got to ask yourself, well, how can I make it so I would stop? Like, ask yourself, you're scrolling through Instagram, would you stop to see what you posted? And if it's no, then you got to ask yourself, how can I make it so it looks engaging, interesting, so people stop to see what I have to post?
Because people surf Instagram and the internet like a crazy monkey searching for a banana.
Banana. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, like, people on Instagram just frantically looking for, like, whoever, like, there's over 1 billion users on Instagram. Why would someone stop to look at your post? And unless if it stands out, unless it has something that's eye catching, why would they stop? And so you got to ask yourself, like, is my thumbnail good? Does my thumbnail look good? It's all visuals on Instagram. It's not all about selfies and stuff like that, but it's like the visual part has to look good. That's why some people, I do, like, some of the posts on my page, it's just like a blank, a black background and just white text on it. And that stands out. When you're scrolling through Instagram, that stands out. Like, a lot of these motivation accounts, that's how they do their content too. Um, so that's an example. So yeah,
The
just
biggest challenge we face today to communicate is attention. Everybody's
attention is the
fighting for
greatest.
our attention.
Yeah, attention is the greatest
And
gift.
if you can capture people's attention, you have a chance to communicate. Without attention, there's no chance. And there's no such thing as partial attention. I either have your full attention or I really don't have it at all.
Yeah.
And so that's the battle that we're fighting, is how the hell do you get somebody's attention to get them to pay attention? And
Yeah, through Instagram, which is what we'll talk in our second class this week on who to emulate. But this call was geared towards you guys in my coaching group. You know, with the avatar and audience, you know, do you guys have any questions on that? And so other people on the call can kind of hear in and be like, oh, okay, you know. So Penny and Connor and Joe, like, are you guys clear on your avatar? I mean, Joe's clear on his avatar and who he wants to serve, right? Do
I'm
it.
clear so far. I'm working through my worksheet still. So, but so far what I've gone through, I don't have questions on. But for the bio, I've seen some of the examples you've given where, for example, with Nicholas Bailey, he's got CEO of the company he's the CEO of,
Yeah,
and then it's got some of the achievements stacked underneath along with the free offer.
sure,
If you don't, I don't have really much in the way of achievements right now.
sure.
What are some things you would recommend putting in there that would help both for SEO and just describing what I'm about and giving some credibility to me?
So remember, there's 3 to 5 keywords that you could put. Like, what are 3 to 5 keywords that you want to be known for? You know, maybe Lego. You know, not Lego, but like some creator, something like that. And a lot of you guys, it's kind of you're starting from scratch. You know, so there might not be some accomplishments, but just basically what you want to be known for and who you help. You know, like who is it that you help? What is your service for? Those are kind of some of the things you could put based on who it is you want to help. You know, that makes sense.
if you want to think of two things when you know, in your niche, which is your avatar is very tightly connected to that. Who do you help and what problem do you solve for them?
Okay.
And most people have difficulty. You know, I help people grow businesses, but that doesn't really reflect the problem I help solve for them. The problem I help solve is business risk and business failure, not making enough money, not having enough impact, not doing what you love. Those are problems I solve. And we move people, all businesses it's a transformation from a problem to the promise.
Mhm.
And so we can't just talk about our promise unless we connect with people in the problem first.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does that make sense, Connor? Like for your bio, kind of how to format it a little bit?
It's giving me some ideas of things to try. I don't have necessarily an aha moment yet. So yeah, but I've got some things to try now. Thanks, Joe.
Who do you like working with, and what problems do you like solving for them?
Oh, I like working with a team that is motivated to tackle.
Okay, now wait.
Okay.
In terms of customers, people that are going to pay you money,
Okay.
who do you like? What you know, when it comes to niche, it's really about who do you like working with? Can you get them a great result, and will they pay you? And so when we talk about who do you like working with, this is not about your enjoyment. This is about you getting paid.
Okay.
There's an internal focus. Oh, I like this and I like that.
Yeah.
You know, if I was going to choose my ideal career, I would have been a porn star. But you know, that's, you know, for my own pleasure. You
Getting
know,
OnlyFans. Like all the girls,
yeah,
you know, right? All the girls getting OnlyFans, easy money, man. Easy money.
yeah. So you know, what do I like doing? You know, what do I like doing? Who do I like doing it with? Who do I like serving? You know, because, you know, my formula for when I help people start a business is do what you love for yourself and others. Share the love through your service and effective marketing, and receive the love in the form of gratitude and cash. You know, so you got to do what you love, not just for yourself. Otherwise, you could just go skiing or play, you know. But everything you want in life, including money, is controlled by other people. So
True.
if you want to make money, it's going to be at the service of others. So who do you like serving?
Okay.
So can you answer that, Connor? Like,
I like serving people who oh, I've never worded it like this before, so it's like maybe. I like serving people who, okay, not down and out, but shoot, I've never formatted it like this. So a lot of the people that I do serve, they're
Well, you work with Legos, right? Like
Yeah.
you create Legos. So
Yeah.
you could like focus on people who are passionate about, like, say, kind of like Star Wars, you know how like that's mostly Legos? Like
Yeah.
maybe like fan fiction. So like people who are like super invested in that kind of stuff, like Comic-Con, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that could be like someone to target, or like who you would work with. Like you can like make for people who are obsessed with like Doctor Who and like create like a TARDIS Lego, you know what I mean? So like people who are like interested in that kind of stuff would definitely be a focus.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So like
I'm thinking about a psychoanalysis when you're saying what type of people do you like to help. I was thinking in terms that way, not necessarily the groups who like Doctor Who or groups who like Star Wars, stuff like this.
Yeah, because you're trying to find like the demographics that are interested in Legos, and that's like one thing I've learned about like Facebook advertising is that you target a certain demographic of like who you want your potential clients or customers to be. So it could be like between the ages of like, for Legos, for instance, between the ages of like 13 and like 50, like people who are interested in as I said, like Comic-Con or the Star Wars Legos. There's like people you're able to target specifically for what you create.
Right.
I think the big challenge, Connor, is it seems you don't know what business you're in. What business are you in?
Again,
You haven't figured it out. It's okay if you haven't
Yeah.
figured it out. It's okay.
We're all
But
figuring it out.
but if you're here to make money, if we're gonna have to figure that out at some point, because otherwise you're posting on Instagram and then driving them to nothing. We need to figure out what the service that you're going to provide is, so that your Instagram, I mean, I'm not an expert at Instagram, but I know that at the end of the day, you want people to buy from you. And so Instagram might be a starting place where you can get attention, but where's the end place, with where people say, hey, you know what, I could use that. I will spend money and buy from you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a worksheet I could share, but I don't know if it's appropriate.
Yeah, I mean, maybe in the resources section on our Slack, you can share it. But Connor, like I talked with you earlier today, so it's like you have a product, you have your Lego product. Who wants that? Who you have a product, who wants to buy that? You said you made a sale in September. Who are the people who would buy that?
And what is the product?
The product is scale Lego models, kind of like what you'd see if you walked into a Lego store, but they're based off military vehicles. So the people that want to buy them are either active military, ex-military, or military enthusiasts of some degree that also like Lego or have kids that usually like Lego.
So do you have a military background?
I personally do not.
Okay. I belong to a group, Success Engineers with Rob Garcia, and he's in the Air Force, and a bunch of the guys in his group are part of a group called Vetrepreneurs. They're all military vets. But like those are the kind of people that you want to talk, like if you're doing these military Legos, I would think that like children of military are the people that's really your target, but the parents are going to be, so I would be thinking your target market is, military, either active or ex, vets, and targeting this for them and their kids. That's your ideal client, is people that have an interest in that stuff, it seems to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that kind of give you a little clarity, Connor?
That does give me some clarity.
Yeah, don't just think about it, do it, right? Like so change your bio today, upload it in the group, and then just,
Change my which?
huh?
Change my which? I missed that one word.
Change your bio, right? Because you're like, how do I do my bio? So you know who it is you're serving, so we make the best Legos for these people or something. Because you every one of us here, we got to learn to sell if you want to make money and stop doing the job that you hate and trade time for money. You got to learn to sell, and I wish I learned this 5 years ago, because I was building millions of followers, but I didn't know how to sell, and that's something that I'm constantly learning even today. So that's something you guys have to learn as well. If you want to sell your products, they're gonna buy from you. So you got to learn how to sell your product, and know how to talk to your client, see what their pain points are, and sell that. And um so yeah, that's hopefully that gives you a little clarity, Connor. Yeah.
Did you say you do
Cool.
tanks?
Yes.
So is it just Army, or is it Army Marine, or?
It's right now I've only done Army vehicles so far, but I'm good at building with Lego. I can do Army, Marine, Air Force, even Formula One. So I've just started with the military just because that's a niche I'm familiar with. And I know I already know some ways of how to reach them. So
Okay.
I'm just starting there because it's comfortable for me.
Sure.
So that's what the reason I asked that question is if they're pretty much Army, then I would focus on the Army. I wouldn't even focus on the other branches of the military. I wouldn't even necessarily go for vets. I would specifically stick to Army.
Yeah. And so you could in your bio.
How I'm curious because I'll see, for example, like the Lego company, and they'll do a broad array of themes, reaching to different people groups, reaching to what's called people of various interests. And that's actually one thing that I've noticed with Legos, that you have people from all different backgrounds, all different income streams or statuses that all like to gather around this one building system. So I'm curious as to why you say just to focus on, for example, Army, or have another branch that would just focus on Air Force or something like that.
Because that's the product you have.
Yeah.
Now, if you introduced airplanes that were Air Force, then I would target the Air Force. But Air Force people are probably not as much interested in tanks as they are airplanes.
Yeah. So whatever product or service you guys have, like on the call, think about, who would that serve the most, right? And so for you, Connor, you have a product for, like in the Air Force or something like that. So then you got to cater your Instagram towards that. So when people see your Instagram, they're like, okay, this guy makes Legos for, military style, things. Because when people see your Instagram, they should know exactly what you're about, who you are. So if your bio and your content doesn't show to people who you are and what you have to offer, it's very unclear if they want to work with you, because it's like they don't know what you do. But like I think your Instagram, you already have Lego stuff on there, so we could talk about that. But just make sure your bio and is right, so people know what it is you do from your bio. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just realized right now that we're talking about specifically my business Instagram bio and not my personal one as well. I was getting all of them. Part of what was confusing me was trying to fit all of them into one.
Yeah.
That was the inference I started off with this conversation.
Sure.
Yeah, that helps a lot. Just saying, no. Do one account per, I guess, per niche.
Yeah. So yeah, no, so okay. Everyone is on Instagram. Like some people are on for attention, some people are on for whatever, but you guys are here to make money, right? From Instagram, and that's what you want to do. So if you want to do that, you got to have a service that you could sell to people, whatever that is. If it's coaching, cool. If it's a product, cool. But whatever it is, like from your Instagram, they got to know what you have to offer to them, and if they can't tell from your content, and from, your bio, then you're not going to get business. So whatever it is you're trying to sell and promote, make sure that your bio and your content lets people know this is who you are, this is what you do, this is what you sell, and how you can help them, you know?
Yeah, inside of Instagram, you can search by keywords of things that you're interested in. So on my Instagram feed, the things that I'm seeing are things about entrepreneurship or martial arts, the things I'm interested in. Okay. And if if I look at Penny's, I see hair. I see hair and more hair, because Penny's in the hair business.
Yeah.
Okay. But you won't see hair on my, on my thing, because that's not what I do. And that's not like my primary interest.
Yeah,
Although I really don't have hair, but it's, anyway,
for sure.
that's another conversation.
So,
But so the thing is what people what they see on their feed are the things that they've searched based on their interests.
sure.
And so you want to speak into their listening. So if people are in the Army, they would be going, oh, Army Legos, this is pretty freaking cool. Because and when they search for Army related things, or they look for tanks or whatever, then your stuff is going to be right congruent, and you're going to match your market, and your message will start to match.
Yeah.
But if you're
Okay.
into Legos, but but you don't put the Army tags in there, the Army people will never see your stuff.
Right.
Yeah. So like even your hashtags, you don't want to just use generic hashtags like army. You want to use like, army Legos or double worded hashtags. That's I'm gonna teach you guys later. But yeah, double worded hashtags, from your content, because the more specific and niched it is, every post you post on Instagram, everything that you post, Instagram scrapes it and they categorize your page. So if you're posting things that have to do with dancing, if you're posting things but you're using hashtags for like food, it's like you're messing your page up. So you want to have like consistent hashtags that relate to your niche every post, because it's like Google or like Facebook, they kind of see everything you post on every hashtag and they categorize you according to that, you know what I
Okay.
mean? So
Um,
yeah.
So, for example, going back just to the tanks thing, let's say I take the page, make it only about tanks,
Yeah.
but I also want to be able to make products that cater to people, let's say, that are in Air Force. Would it be wise, like, could I still do it under the same company with a different Instagram page, or would it be
Oh
better
yeah,
to create it different?
absolutely. I mean, if you don't have any Air Force products, I wouldn't focus on it. The moment you put an Air Force, you don't have to create a new page, just create those tags and those hashtags.
Okay.
Those become part of your keywords. In your bio, Legos for Air Force and Army, or Navy, Army, Air Force, Navy.
Oh, but start off with what I have, so it's a specific, targeting a specific niche that I can serve right now, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you have Army related products, then I would think Army would be a good keyword. But if you have Army related products and then you put Air Force tags, it doesn't quite make sense. But if you have Army and Air Force products, then I would be tagging Army and Air Force.
Yeah. So and I know some of you guys don't have products right now, or like services, which is fine, which is something you need to think about. I know Jock, she does like handwriting stuff, handwritten like calligraphy, but you could sell products like if you go to like websites like society6.com, you can make mugs and t-shirts that are just based on just your quotes and things like that. So there's always a way to monetize. Someone here asked Ali Ailes that can the IG page just be for inspiration, motivation, make money? And so yeah, my first page that I started was a motivation account. I grew it to 80K and I sold it. So yeah, you could make money, like I said, if you post like if you have products, like there's a page called Society 6, where you can actually have designs made. And then basically, based on that, if it's like super inspirational, whatever, like this is something one of my friends made. It's called Motivation Everything. He's charging $20. It's like winners never quit and quitters never win. You could have this like design pre-made on like Society 6 or something like that. And you could sell it to your audience as long as you have an audience that you could sell to. And so
Society6.com.
yeah, so that's for like if you have merchandise and things you want to sell. But yeah, this main call is yeah, just to help you guys figure out like who's your avatar, who's your audience you want to serve, and any questions with the homework so far,
I do have another question though.
Yeah.
So for me, I have my personal Instagram and then I have my business one. Is there any way to like combine both of them where it's just my personal page is also my
Business page?
business page?
Yeah. So this is what another woman asked me. She was like, "Hey, like, I have a personal Instagram, but my business one." But I'm like, if you're not going to be active on both of them, just focus on one. And
Mhm.
then obviously on your personal, you're going to start posting more business stuff, right? So you're going to have
Yeah.
to start posting more things that are like, hey, these are the ways that you can get traffic from Facebook or whatever it is that you have that you can help people with. So everything on Instagram, it's not about you, like people think, hey, Instagram's all about me, it's just selfies all day. No, it's not. It's about you giving value to people through your content. If you're not giving value through your content, then why should a random person care about what you ate for breakfast or what how good you are, and unless if you're like an entertainer and you're a dancer, then sure, like people are interested into that. But if you're not, and you're on Instagram, you got to see what kind of value giving content can I give
Mhm.
that educate people or entertain people, or because people are on Instagram for, I want to say, like four main reasons: to like entertain them, to educate them, to inspire them, or to just, or for personal because they're like interested in that person. So if you're not doing one of those four things, then it's like you got to think about, am I posting just another selfie? Well, like, who would care about another selfie, right? Unless they're your friends or family. They okay, cool. But if you're trying to attract more people who don't know you to your page, you
Mhm.
got to post value giving content where other people who don't know you are like, wow, this is valuable. I'm gonna follow this person because it's a valuable page and they're giving me valuable content. Yeah, and
Mhm.
so that's how you got to think of Instagram. If you're just like, hey, this is just another narcissistic tool for me to like like, some people think that's, yeah, that's if you're like a super hot model or whatever. But even
Mhm.
then it's like that's super shallow, and most of those guys are super old horny men who have nothing to do with their life. I'm just kidding.
Mhm.
Not nothing to do with, but yeah, man, like there was this one girl, like this hot girl, like model. She has a lot of followers, and she promoted like her product, which was how to get a girl like me. It's like a course, right? And then she had funnels and all that. She promoted it, and then no one bought, and it's because her market that she's built wasn't around that. And so Jason Capital, he's the one. He's like, you could either sell like dick pills, or you could sell like how to have better sex or something like that. But you're not going to sell something that's on like something like that. So you got to think of your market, like who's following you and what do they want, and how can you create something for them. That
Okay.
yeah.
Makes
We
sense.
all spend money on things that make our life better.
Yeah, and
Okay.
yeah,
So, why do you spend money for your rent or your mortgage? Because it makes life better than being homeless. Why do you spend money going to the nice restaurant versus eating at home? Because life is better to eat out once in a while. Why
yeah,
do you spend money on groceries to cook at home? Because life is better because it's fun to cook at home sometimes.
yeah,
So, the common thread in all of it, why do you get your brakes fixed on your car? Because life is better to have working brakes
Oh, it's
than
so
not working brakes. So now if we want to flip the tables, if you want people to spend money with you, the most important thing is that they understand that Sophia is here to make your life better in the area that Sophie is an expert at.
Mhm.
yeah,
And if people see, wow, Sophie can really make my life better, then they'll spend money with you.
yeah. And you also have to understand, something I learned in sales is people don't buy what they need, they buy what they want.
Yeah.
So they're not gonna buy something because you're like, hey, I know you need this. There's like, I don't care. Like, for example, this program was, you're gonna get 10K followers. I know that's what people want, but I know what people really need is like the education, like about business and marketing. That's what I'm giving them. But you gotta sell them on what they want and then give them what they need, you know?
Uh,
And
Mhm.
so something I've learned from my mentors and stuff. So yeah, you gotta just sell what they want. Obviously, give them that, but also give them what they really need, which a lot of people don't even know what they need sometimes, and so that's why you're there to help them, you know. And so and hopefully you guys all got the book U Squared, right? You ordered it.
Coming in the mail.
Okay, Sophia, you got it.
Yeah, I actually already read it.
You already read all of it?
Yeah, it's only like 42 pages.
Oh, dang. Okay, a quick reader. And Joe said he had it before, so okay. There's a book I recommended to people in my coaching group. It's called U Squared. You guys can check it out for those who aren't in it. And Penny, hopefully you got it, and Zach, stuff like that. Hopefully.
Yep, it's on the way from Amazon.
Cool. Yeah. So we got to read that, and we'll go over that as well. But yeah, man, that's so yeah, that's kind of it. Any questions? Any other questions you guys have in terms of like the whole?
Hi Ray.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, it's me, Joss. Um, for this session, it's really, really insightful. I actually have a question, but it's not related to Instagram.
Sure.
I'm trying to get people to write me a review or recommend me through Facebook. But the problem is I realized that I couldn't get the recommend button to show up on my Facebook because I think what Facebook does is you need to actually put your exact location to get that to pop up. Is there any way I can do that? Because they changed it. Before it was a review, but now they changed it to recommendation. So
Okay.
is there any way to know about this?
How to do what was your question again? Like, how do you get the thumbs up on Facebook?
So when you leave a review or a recommendation
Yeah.
in Facebook, there
Yeah.
is actually a button that pops up that says, "Oh, would you recommend this place?" Then there'll be a yes and no button.
Okay.
But if my business is not like a restaurant, I don't have an exact location, that button doesn't appear.
Is that for your
So
business page?
Yes, it's a business page. And I think it's kind of challenging to make that. I think Facebook is now they changed it a lot of things. It used to be reviews, but I think now they changed recommendation. I find that I was trying to play around with it. I couldn't figure out how to make that button appear on my business page.
Did you Google it? Did you Google that? Or search it?
Yeah, I did. It says that you need to have an exact location. That was the only answer I found.
Okay, so
Well, then get a PO box or something like that.
Yeah,
If you have a mailing address that's not your home address, that's why you don't want to do it.
Right.
You don't want to have your home address so that people show up at your
Correct.
yeah.
Correct. Right.
So did you get that fixed, like the address? and stuff?
No, I was like just figuring if you guys know anything about this. If not, it's all right.
Yeah. Anyone
Yeah.
have any insights on that? I don't really have insights on that. So.
I would just get
Sure.
an alternative address, and then you can activate that.
Right. Okay.
Sounds like a requirement for like a retail.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and if you need more reviews and stuff like that, then you could message me directly because we could get you more reviews if that's what you're wanting with the agency stuff I'm doing. But yeah.
Do you what kind of service do you provide, Jock?
As what Ray said, I actually don't sell anything yet. I'm still figuring out what I could provide. At this moment, I do calligraphy therapy, and so basically my posts are mainly inspiring. But I haven't figured out what I could sell besides like if I put my art on a mug or a wall deco. That's the only thing I can think about. But so far, I've actually sold Christmas cards. And they're hand lettered and hand, for a start. Yeah.
Well, this is the problem I solve for people all day, is helping them figure out what business to be in. What you said, Ray, about getting mugs made. I mean, you can make some money on that, but that's
Sure.
like making $5 at a time.
Yeah.
But that's not enough to pay the rent. So
Yeah.
whatever business you choose, you want to, do you know how big problem? What I do is big solution. If you solve big problems, you can make bigger money. If you solve small problems, it's kind of more difficult to make, significant money. So,
Yeah.
So I would be looking at, how can I make somebody's life better, like a whole lot, I tell people, 6 months with Joe will take about 30 years off your business learning curve.
Yeah.
Okay. That's just one of the things, I've been through this obstacle course of business and I've learned so much stuff, but you want to start thinking, what can I, who has $100,000 problem and they have $100,000 problem, if you can make their $100,000 problem go away for $10,000, that's
Yeah.
called a good deal.
Yeah.
So start looking at like, what are the big problems people have? And then Joss comes along and like
Yeah.
fixes those problems.
Yeah.
And I don't know if if you feel comfortable at 10,000 or 8,000 or 5,000, but if you sell, two $5,000 things a month, that's a pretty good month. But if
Yeah.
you sell 20 coffee mugs at $5 profit a mug,
Yeah.
you're still going to be struggling to pay your rent. So you want to think in terms of how can I really show up as a massive contribution to the clients I serve, and then charge a fee commensurate with making those changes.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, got it.
Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because everyone here is, either, wanting to build a business or maybe have some sort of business, but, this is, and we're all learning together. So it's kind of like, if you want to start a business, you got to identify who is it that you want to serve and help. And yeah, like Joe said, what is their, that $100,000 problem you're solving, or $10,000 problem, um, so yeah. And then I think he also said, what would you recommend as your top 2 things to get a motivation inspiration page going? She has a niche. She helps women with hyperthyroidism, but you want to start with motivation inspiration. So, I mean, top 2 things, like back then when I was growing, motivation accounts, it was, I would grow from viral content, and that's one gonna teach you guys how to find viral content and things like that, to get more exposure. But basically, yeah, just post good content that's, teaching people on what it is that you help people with, and that will, like, well, whatever would attract the kind of people you want, right? If it's just motivation, that's very general. Maybe something that has to do with yeah, something specific with hyperthyroidism that you're helping people with, that would be good.
Do you have a product around hyperthyroidism and hypothyroidism?
Deal. Good.
Yes, I do. Okay, well, what is your product? What do you offer?
Oh, his baby is-
Sorry, I can't talk.
Okay. Just type it in chat, I guess.
Oh, gut health. Okay.
Okay.
So do you have like a 3-month or 6-month gut health protocol, or do you teach people? Okay, and how much is it? How much do you charge for it? Detox. How much do you charge? It's a 3-month program.
Okay. 3-month program.
So one of the things to think about is, like, you can offer a product. Okay, you can offer information. When you give freely of your information, you earn the right and the privilege to charge a premium for implementation. So if you just give people knowledge and information, they'll only pay a certain amount. But if you give them support, if you actually help them achieve real, true transformation, and if you give them ongoing support, they will pay more for that. Okay.
Yeah.
Like in my program, I just raised my price on my one-on-one program. It's 6 months of coaching for $7,500 with a guarantee that you'll make your money back and double it in 6 months. And if you don't, I will keep working with you until you do. And I have 100% success rate because, we're going to keep doing it until we get that outcome and that result. And so people will pay the price because not only are they getting learning, they're getting information, but they're getting ongoing support. They're getting hand holding. they're connecting the dots, and they know that I'm in there for the long haul to make sure that they actually get that result and that outcome.
Sure.
And so you want to think of the same thing, that, you know, if you're selling a 3-month gut protocol and it's just the nutritional products and the information, that's a certain value. But if you give them support, if you give them training, if you give them SOS phone number to
3-month program. So I guess if you already have a program, then you want to create content that's going to bring that type of person in, you know, and that's something that's that, you know, that I'm going to teach as well in it. But yeah, send me a message too if you have more questions and stuff. But basically, this is just for you know, people who have questions with the homework we did last week, but also anyone else who's on here can just ask kind of questions they have too. So you want to make content that would bring in the people you want. So you could do inspirational, motivational content, but if that's not your target market, then you should probably post things to educate people on thyroid problems and things like that.
Yeah, I would be saying things like, if you're low on energy, here's a quick
like
tip.
diagrams, like visuals and stuff.
If you want to lose some weight, here's a quick tip.
Yeah, so
Or,
send me a message, Ale, and on Instagram, and then we'll chat more. And then cool. Yeah.
Hey, Ray, do you think there's any value to, I was talking to somebody the other day who's saying that, I think this is a very Gary Vee thing, of posting, rather than posting like motivation or inspiration, posting like, hey, here's some real stuff that I'm doing. Like, here's how this process works, or here's how, like, showing kind of behind the scenes of what people are doing. Is that valid?
Yeah, so that's what a lot of stories are for. Like, stories, people document like behind the scenes, like what they do and stuff like that. That's what stories are good for. So what's an example? Like, do you have a specific example you're talking about, or like what's something that you were thinking of, for example?
That's a good. So my friend has a real estate software website company.
Yeah.
And so he was showing, he was talking about posting, here's us mapping out like this new software feature, or like some.
Yeah. So kind of giving direction on like how that product works, you mean?
Not even how it works, just more like what the people are up to. Like, here's what I am up to. Like, not here's what we are up to, but here's like what I am actually doing.
Okay, and he's posting that on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So he's showing people, hey, this is my product, this is how it works, and that's what he's posting.
Not exactly like here's how the product works, but here's what business looks like behind the scenes.
yeah, I like that.
Okay.
I like that a lot. You could have, a lot of Instagram posts with, here's our rock concert and the band performing on stage. But there's a whole story about like what happens before the show, during the show, after the show, like what goes on behind the scenes, or sitting around trying to write a song and hack out a verse, or, I think that behind the scenes stuff is valuable. It's like, here's our software and buy it. That's very in front, like front stage. But like, why did we add this feature? Like, here's the real story behind the scenes of like how this thing came about. I think that's super valuable, and it's insightful. Like, when people can see not just the movie, but what's going on behind the scenes of like what made all this come to pass.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, I think it's cool that like he's posting about stuff that's sharing with people. This is our content, but like I asked you guys earlier, hey, if this wasn't your page and you're scrolling through Instagram and you see that, like would you stop to look at it? So you got to think about, how can I post something that gets people to kind of stop and be like, oh, like it's a value giving thing, but if it's like a video showing people how it works, I think that's fine. The hard part would be, how do you get people to follow the page, maybe through like visuals or infographics or things like that. So so yeah, I would look at like his competitors, if he has any, and see who's crushing it and see how they do their content. Or if he doesn't, yeah, behind the scenes are good, of like how things work. Like maybe do it as a story highlight. That's something you could think about. So hopefully that helps, Zach.
Yeah, that was helpful. Thank you.
Okay.
Ray, I got a question. Is there a difference in having content that gets people to stop on their news feed to follow you versus content to provide to people that are already following you?
What do you mean? Is there a difference between the content, you mean, or is there?
Yeah, I mean, like it's clearly, you know what you were saying is like, okay, people are scrolling and then they see your stuff. Is it good enough? Is it grab their attention enough that they would want to follow you? I get that. Then the other part is now people are following you. Do you continue to give them the eye candy, or is there some kind of level of substance or other stuff like? So
Sure.
the question is there a difference between content designed to get people to follow you versus content designed for people who are already following you?
So let me rephrase. So you're asking, is there content that gets people to follow you versus content that provides value to your followers?
Well, clearly there is, but the question is do you have an opinion around that or any recommendations around that?
Yeah, I would say, so nowadays, man, it's growth. Even if you post content, it's hard to grow, even if it's good. So that's why I talk about shout out networks, where you need people who have a network of accounts to grow you, because even if you post content, it's hard to get noticed, right? Even if it's good. But even like I had a post, it got 1 million views, recently, and it's like about this. I reposted something, so sometimes when you repost viral content, it gets you more exposure. But I used to get like thousands of followers back then when I got 1 million viewed, post, but now it's only giving me maybe a couple hundred. So like the way to grow now is through the shout out networks, which is what I'm gonna help you guys grow in the coaching group. Like I'm gonna get you guys to 10K using that my network. But they're not super targeted, obviously, but they're real US people, and I'm gonna show you tools to use to get, targeted people in the program. But basically, yeah, like there is certain types of content that get people to follow you more than just value giving. But basically, just you want to look at your page and be like, okay, if I wasn't a business coach and I'm looking at my page, like, would I follow my page? Whoever you are, whatever you do, ask yourself, okay, would I follow this honestly if this was not my page? And if it's like probably not, then look.
Yeah, it's the catch-22. I have some videos I put together
Yeah.
that if people watch those videos, their life would freaking change. Like they
Yes.
would actually make more money. They would have a
Sure.
more successful business. But then how the hell do you get people like I put all this energy into orchestrating and
Creating
writing
content.
a script
Yeah.
and putting images together. I got this great video and
Yeah.
it's got like 72 views, and it's like,
Yeah.
holy shit, if people watched it, it would
What's your
change their
Instagram?
freaking life, but they're not even watching it.
Yeah. It's Joe Nicasio. Yeah, I know. I get what you mean. So so that's why, like, it's all about presentation on Instagram. You might be sharing the same thing, but one thing might catch people's eyes more than the other, and it's just shared in a different way. Visually it's more appealing. It has a good thumbnail. All these things go into like what makes the post more engaging. You know what I mean? And call to actions in your caption. All those things go into that. You know what I mean? And
I
so-
wish people actually were surfing with their brains, but they're surfing the web like a crack crazed monkey searching for a banana.
Yeah, but it's kind of like you can't blame them. Like look at how you view on social media. Would you, like we stop at things that are visually like appealing and attractive. So like either, if it's not, a view, it could just be of a visual. Like a good company that I know that does this well is Founder. You could look them up. So they're more business minded, but they basically have a lot of visuals that are like giving business tips, but they're also visually eye catching, And so you can check, Founder. That's another cool tool to use. And so yeah, hopefully that helps. Like basically, it's all like Instagram is very much about presentation, not just the knowledge. Like you might have the best knowledge to change someone's life, but if it's not eye-catching enough or like visually aesthetic, like people are gonna pass by it, and so that's
Yeah.
kind of the world of Instagram, because it's all visuals. And some people say it's superficial, whatnot, but it's like look at yourself. would you stop, on the freeway to look at a billboard unless if it was super eye catching? Like, no, you don't have time to do that, and so it's just learning, psychology and seeing, if it's not visually appealing enough, how can I make it so, people would stop
So in other words, don't worry about the frontal lobe. It's all about the reptilian brainstem.
well, that's just a hook. It's like even in copywriting, how do you get people to read your copy? There's a hook, right? So there needs to be a hook for your post that people are like, oh, like
I
didn't-
get
like,
it, man. This
Yeah.
is my field of study. I get it.
Yeah,
It's-
exactly. So it's just psychology, and it's the hook, and from there you give them the value through your captions or through your carousel. Like even on my Instagram, there's like, 3 limiting beliefs that prevent people from posting content, right? For example, and it says swipe. So it's like, oh, I want to know that. So they swipe. So carousels are good sometimes for that. Things like that. So
At some point, are you going to show us how to do stories and carousels and all that?
What are
yeah.
carousels?
So we're gonna have like content creation parts. We're gonna go over that, stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
The second week is on, finding people to emulate and who inspire you, and copying that kind of model framework. It makes sense. So yeah. Uh Penny, do you have any or anyone else questions, or Zach, or
I have another question.
yeah.
What is so shout out and excuse me. I know we're gonna go deeper to shout out networks. Are those pay to play, or is that something different?
Yeah. I mean everything on Instagram is not pay to play. It's I mean you gotta pay them to grow you, right? Like why would they grow you for free, like yeah, but it's hard to find those networks or people who know them. So that's why, like, unless for example, someone like myself who has access to them, it's hard to even find people to pay to grow you.
What about, is that different than buying followers?
Sure. Yeah, usually when you buy followers, they're bots or people from third world countries, or like just from India or just random places. It's and when you have a shout out network, then it's that's like US based, then you're getting more US based audience.
I gotcha.
Yeah. So no questions. And Penny and Zach, did you guys make sure to do the homework before our Wednesday session and whatnot? But
Yes, I'll post it in Slack.
yeah, and then U squared was Sophia finished it already, so that's pretty cool. So working on it, and yeah, just being clear on who you serve, who you help, and then the avatar and the audience, and then from there we could create content to attract that type of audience. So that's it's harder than expected. Yeah, well, you have your buddy, accountability buddy, so you could ask them for support. Joe and Penny, I don't know if you guys connected. Throughout the
Yeah,
week.
reach out, Penny.
Yeah, Joe can help with that, so for sure. So any other questions you guys have, Thomas, Jay, or
What's carousel?
so carousel is like those slides on Instagram, like the post slides. You could slide through the post.
Okay.
It's a carousel. Yeah. If you look on my Instagram, I have some carousels where it's like you swipe through the slides.
So like when you upload, you
I mean,
upload
like when
multiples
it's
at
one
once,
picture
right?
that has.
What was that? What?
So is it when you make a post that's got more than one image?
Yeah, and you just like slide through, and that's like
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I actually do know what that is. I just didn't know that's what it was called.
Yeah. Carousels are good to kind of get people engaged. So, yeah. Well, Thomas or JJ, I don't know if I know JJ, but or Joss, you guys have any questions or things, or anyone else? It's
I'm good.
good.
So did you have any, I had a question I posted in the group, but I didn't see any answer, but
Sure.
so I have a free book on it's the Quit Your Job Manual. I've got a
Sure.
landing page. I've got a link to it. People can download it for free.
Yeah.
Any ideas on how to use Instagram to get more people? Should I just be doing a boosted ad to drive people to that landing page?
what would be good, is like if you have like maybe some people have books and they highlight it and they take a picture of that and they upload that. So some people are like, oh, okay, that's they know what's in the book, and that could be a better way of getting people in. Or if it's just like a free ebook, you could look at these are helping them out. You can see how they're doing it. They have like a free ebook on like for fitness professionals. You can see how they're promoting it, so either like a carousel, it could be like that ebook, and then like a slide carousel of like some of the content in your ebook that gets people engaged. That's one way. So those are some ideas for you. But so yeah, I think to answer that, just people have to know what's in it. So maybe having some content in there, and we could talk about this more on the call later. But yeah, if that's it.
All right, this is my 9th Zoom call today, so I'm gonna check out.
Sure, yeah. I was gonna say if no one else has questions, then yeah, let's we'll call it a night, and then I'll see you guys in the coaching group on Wednesday, and everyone else who want to chat or have questions, just DM me, and we'll go from there. Okay.
Sweet. Thank you.
Cool. Make sure to do
Thank
the
y'all.
homework, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday.
Cool.
All right. Night, guys.
Night.